Hi, evening everyone. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak to you as well. So, as that first slide shows, my name's Jody Whitfield. I work for Driver and Vehicle Standards Agency. I work in a policy department, and in particular, my job title is Rider Policy Specialist, which probably doesn't mean that much to you, but I think I can tell you a little bit more about me before we start off. I think, like most of you, have got an interest in bikes, and all the comments that you've just typed in sort of relate to me as well. I was 5 when I got my first one, and have never really stopped since then. I've currently got a BMW 1250 GS, and I ride that all the time. Love it. I've been working for DVSA since 2014. Done various different jobs in the agency, but currently, as I say, I work in the policy team, and although that doesn't mean much to you, what I really do is support the decision makers within DVSA by helping them with technical knowledge around either rider training, rider testing, or just anything to do with motorcycling in general. From me this evening, hopefully what I'm going to be able to tell you about is how to get from where you are to having a provisional license, or possibly moving on and getting a full license, and all the stages that are involved in between. So how do you get on the road? Depends really how far you want to go and what you want to do. So as a learner, as a minimum, you'd need to get a provisional license. That's compulsory. There's no option not to do that. We've then got some online training that is optional. It's called RideFree. I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. But that's really designed just to help prepare you for the next part of training, which is compulsory basic training. If all you want to do is ride with L plates on and start your journey, then they're the things that you can start off with. If you want to get a full license, then you can do those 3 things above. And then in terms of finishing that off, there's also a theory test, and then 2 parts to the practical test. If we deal with the license part first, then licenses are issued through DVLA, so that's the Driver and Vehicle Licence Agency, not actually us. Although we deal with the regulating the training and also conducting the practical tests, we don't actually deal with the issue of the license. So that's DVLA's responsibility, but we are quite often mistaken for them. You can make your application online. If you go on gov.uk and search apply for a provisional license, all the details will come up. Currently, a provisional license costs £34. If you apply online, you'll need some form of identity document. So that could be a passport, ideally. You'll also need your previous addresses for at least the last 3 years. People don't realise, but the minimum age, the youngest that you can apply for a provisional license, is 15 years old and 9 months. So if there is anybody out there listening that's interested or wanting to do the CBT or get on the road on the 16th birthday, then you can do that. You just need to make sure that you've applied for your license beforehand and you've got that ready for your 16th birthday. Another condition of having a driving license, whether it be full or provisional, is that you need to be able to read a vehicle registration plate from 20 meters away. If you need contact lenses or glasses, then that's fine, you can use those. But to save you spending £34 to get a license, to then find out that you can't meet the eyesight requirement, you may as well check that bit before you choose to apply. Once you've applied for your license, before you start your CBT, in July 2020, we've launched an online training program to try and help people. So it's free. You don't have to pay anything to do it. We recognise that your CBT should be fun, but there can be a lot to learn. There's a lot of practical skills to learn, and there's some theoretical stuff to learn as well. So if you do the online training first, RideFree, the aim is that you'll improve your knowledge of rider skills and behaviour, which could or should lead to you having more time to focus on the practical skills on the day that you attend your CBT. There's all sorts of different topics in the e-learning. So some of the stuff is to do with highway code and hazard perception. Other items include motorcycle clothing, equipment and maintenance. And we've also got speakers here tonight that will tell you more information about that particular item anyway. The other point of RideFree is it introduces the idea of rider behaviour and the choices that you make. So hopefully, if you're better informed, you can make better choices, reduce the risk of actually being involved in an incident. Compulsory basic training, that's what everybody refers to as CBT. So that's very much a practical training course to prepare you for riding independently on the road on your own. At the end of that course, if you're successful, you'll be given a CBT certificate. That then validates the provisional entitlement that you've got on your license. And the idea behind that course is that it allows you to go on and continue gaining extra experience to prepare you for then obtaining a full license by taking a practical test. So your CBT certificate will last for 2 years. If during that 2-year period you've not actually passed your test, then you would be able to complete another CBT. All the courses that are provided are through approved trainers. We don't actually provide them ourselves, but we regulate the training industry that does. So if you're wanting to find your nearest trainer, again on gov.uk, if you search for find a CBT course, you'll be able to put your home postcode in and it'll give you a list of all the nearest approved trainers to wherever you live. On the course itself, what we'll learn, there are some theoretical parts, so you will still get a basic understanding of riding theory, but there's also practical skills and you'll get that experience and help you prepare for your motorcycle test. There's 5 parts to the course. They're lettered as elements A to E. The first one is an introduction, so the trainer will check your eyesight, check your license, give you a talk about helmets and clothing. The second part, practical on-site training, they'll take you around either a moped or a motorcycle, depending on whatever it is that you're wanting to ride, show you the controls, show you some maintenance checks, manual handling, that sort of thing. Practical on-site riding, element C, that's probably the most enjoyable part for most of you. You'll actually get on the bike and learn to ride it, but in a safe environment away from the traffic, so it's all on an approved area. The practical on-road training bit, that's the theoretical bit, element D. So that brings in the highway code, rider attitude, what to expect when you go out on the road, how to deal with different situations in traffic, and a bit of a verbal check of your knowledge of the highway code. So you be prepared at that point that the trainer's probably going to ask you some questions, possibly on traffic signs or that sort of thing. The final part of the CBT is going out onto the road on yourself. So the trainer will equip you with a radio, take you out normally in a pair, so there'll be you plus another rider, and you've got to spend a minimum of 2 hours riding around on the road with the trainer. Quite often that bit can take longer, but if everything's okay after the 2 hours, then the trainer will issue with your CBT certificate and you're then in a position to continue learning and start riding independently. So once you've got that CBT certificate, what can you ride, or what could you use to take your CBT on? The type of moped or motorcycle that you can ride is dependent on your age. So at 16, you can have a category AM moped. By definition, that means it can't be any bigger than 50cc if it's a petrol engine. Can't have any more than 4 kilowatts in power, and can't travel any quicker than 45 kilometers an hour or 28 miles an hour. 17, you could have an A1 license. So again, that's a maximum of 125cc and a maximum power of 11 kilowatts. You must display your L plates front and rear. You can't carry pillion passengers, and you can't go on the motorway. How do you get a full license? Well, you do the stuff that we've mentioned so far, and then you can take a hazard perception and theory test. You can do the module 1 test, and you can do the module 2 test. Details of what's involved in each of those separate elements are covered on the slide in front of you just there. Useful links and questions. I've come to the end of the parts that I wanted to talk about. So I really just want to thank you for listening and giving me the opportunity to talk to you all. There are some links and some questions that will be provided at the end. I can see that Faye's putting those in the chat as we speak now. So thanks everyone for listening. Thanks for the opportunity, and I'll stop talking and leave you to your next presenter.